Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner. It is Monday the 29th of April, and what a day it has been to begin with in yen pairs, but let's start somewhere else. We'll start in Holland or in the Netherlands with Philips that has jumped 30+% today. Reason why, we can discuss that another time. That's not my field, but as you can see here, Philips really jumped this morning, and it is now trading in this resistance area just below the 200 moving average. You got the 200 weekly moving average here on the right side, and let's expand that because that gives a better idea. So we have a consolidation area here and comes back from that as well. We had a little bit of sideways trading before in this downtrend before it actually resumed downtrend lower. So it broke above with a bang, I would say 21.90 here. And what is interesting, if we zoom in a little bit, we could actually see what happened Friday. It doesn't look up much, but volume actually surged Friday, and that was interesting on a day when I just checked that most of the other AEX constituents stocks in the AEX index actually had lower volume than the previous day. So maybe someone already sniffed it out that there was something cooking in Philips with this news that came out this morning. So we are in this area here, around 20, just around 27 and 29, where we have some resistance that could, it will give some resistance around these levels. But anyway, let's move on to other markets that are also moving a little bit. And we had the Hang Seng that has also moved quite a bit here the past few days. Last week, spiked higher this morning, just to touch and spike above 18,000. There's still further upside potential for the Hang Seng index. As we can see here, 18,173, 18,844. We are in a positive sentiment with no divergence on the RSI, indicating we could see higher levels despite this spike up here. What will happen tomorrow morning, or the market can define whether it will drop back, or is it just a little blip on the way? But it could form a top and reversal pattern, short term at least, but we don't know that yet. Let's see about that tomorrow. S&P 500. Testing the 55 moving average Friday. We are just below resistance at 5,146. We could be caught range bound here, but if it does break above this level here, well, then I will say we are back in business. We are back in bullish trend with the potential to test previous highs. Also, Nasdaq 100. Just below 17,808. If it takes out that, well, then there's a good chance it'll also move higher. But then I will actually see a close above 18,000 for several reasons. First of all, it's a psychological level. Secondly, it will be also back above the 55 moving average, which is flat, and that will actually give a little bit of resistance, and it will be back above the cloud. So that will be key the next couple of days. Can it actually break higher, or will it move back below the cloud and back below 17,500 for downtrend resuming? In European markets, we have still Eurostoxx 50. 5,031 is the key resistance that should be observed. We have DAX 18,192, just around this 61.8 retracement here. If we do get a close above, I believe we will see higher levels, but it also needs to be confirmed by an RSI above 60. So we need that confirmation. So even if we do close above here, then I still want that confirmation above before I go a full bullish on it. AX. Well, Philips has pushed or helped it at least quite a bit to trade above the 883 resistance, very close to its peak level here. I think we can remove that one, so we have a situation in a bullish mode. Back above 60 on the RSI, testing this falling trend line. A close above that, well, then we are looking at higher levels. And how far are we talking about? Well, there could be some potential up to 908, 917 at least short to medium term. CAC 40 still struggling around 8,126. and we need the RSI to close back above 60. We have SMI, well, resistance 11,380, but there's still a lot of resistance up here with the 55. I wouldn't go full bullish until we are above 11,595. Moving on to the FX market, we have the euro dollar that is hovering around this 38.2 retracement area at just above 107. I would take this movement here Friday, the top and the bottom of it, as a range. If it does take out that, well, then we're looking at 107.77, which is the 61.8 retracement of this sell-off there. I think we will move to that. So that's what might be my take here. But if it takes out Friday's low at 106.70, well, then the correction is over, and then we are looking at lower levels below 106. So I have a bullish view on it, short term, or correction move on it. But until then, I think we will just move on to the next one. Cable. 61.8 retracement at 125.53 has almost been touched this morning, just a few pips from it. Could push higher, but you can see the 200 moving average coming down here, kind of putting a lid on it, so that will be quite a bit of resistance. But if it can take it out, well, then we're looking at 126.20.25, which is the 786 retracement. It's not unlikely we'll get to there, especially after we had the RSI breaking above its falling trend line, but it's still in a negative sentiment. So for me, this is still a correction that we will have the downtrend to resume eventually. Dollar yen, all the yen pairs in general, they're still bullish despite what's happening this morning. There's discussion about was it a central bank invention or what was it? Well, what we have, dollar yen spiking just above 160 and then got hammered down. What it actually did, it actually went down to, you can see this uptrend here, 61.8 is 154.42, just a few pips from that. And again, with the FX market on other charts, it will probably have touched it. So that's where we are. If it does take out this morning's low, not by a close, just take it out, I think we will see a move down to around 152.83, possibly all the way down to 151.75, which is 61.8 of this entire uptrend here since the March low. So I still believe that we slowly will trade higher. We are still above this rising trend line here. So we are still in a bullish mode, also in RSI sentiment, still positive. There's no divergence, indicating we could see higher levels on dollar yen. But be careful, a lot of volatility out there, really. We have euro yen, and we actually have more or less the same behavior, actually spiked above this peak here that goes back to 2013. And let's just zoom in on it as we can. Oops, sorry about that. So you have to go all the way back to here. And I have a rhino sitting next to me, an elephant that is blowing his nose. No problem about that. This is what it happens when we are sitting in open landscape mode here. So actually it spiked higher above 170. We have zooming in on euro yen. See, 61.8 retracement, 165.87. Just above key strong support at 165.35. So again, if it takes out the lows this morning, then expect further sell-off down to actually below that support level there, I would say. So let's move on to Aussie yen. Same picture, really spiked higher in a massive move, but then totally collapsed. And if we're also doing a Fibonacci on that one, we could just add a little bit there, just for so you can see what's happening. So it actually did 50% of that, 101.39, could drop down to the 61.8 at 100.53. Still bullish sentiment across the board on yen pair. So I think the uptrend will resume eventually. Also here, sterling yen, as we can see, 61.8 retracement, just touched it and spiked a little bit lower. Again, if it takes out the lows this morning, well, then we are looking at the 192.27. Around that, we both have 38 retracement. of the entire uptrend and the 786 retracement. So there's a conflict that there's a cluster of supports and our retracement support. We have the lower rising trend line giving some support, but in general we are in a bullish trend on all yen pairs still. But it could have spiked out. It's really when we see this. Also, if it is the Japanese central bank, we have to remember they have no fear. So when you have a player in the market with deep pockets and no fear, it takes up a lot of the fear in the market that sometimes drives this and the mass psychology. However, it should be noted they also do technical analysis. They do know their stops, no question about that. They do know the levels. Aussie dollar spiked to 786 retracement and the 100 moving average, and the retracing. I think we will see that it's it, and then we will see it's sliding lower in the coming weeks. But if it takes out the peak of the day and does close above the cloud here, well, then we're looking at the 66.45. Dollar Canada testing the key support and 61.8 retracement at 136.18. I think we will maybe have another go at it, and then I think we will resume uptrend once again. EURUSD seems to be rejected at the 786 retracement at 97.87. Dollar Swiss, really not much to talk about, just moving sideways with key support at 90. And finally, dollar index we have here at also, I mean, it doesn't reflect 100% what's going on in euro dollar, but we are in a correction mode, and I still believe we could dip down to around 105, 104, 84, even possibly down to the 61.8 retracement, but it's not really there yet. We are still holding on above the 38.2 retracement. If it takes out this peak here, well, then we are looking at a higher level. Moving on to gold, that is more or less just trading sideways with a little bit bullish sentiment, I would say. 38.2 retracement and 23.19 support just being tested again this morning. If it takes out it once again, well, then I think we will finally see a push down to around 22.55, 22.60. But it really needs to push lower below these lows here. For now, we are still with a little bit of bullish upside. We still have the RSI in a bullish sentiment. Silver can't make its mind up what I'm going to do. So I would say above 27.75 bullish, below 26.65 bearish correction. Copper, and here for copper we really need to look at the weekly chart and then zoom out quite a bit. Oops, that was not copper. There we are. Resistance at 457, but it's not that strong. There's potential up to 470 and even up to just around the 500 there. Really strong. I don't think we will get up there just now, but we are in a bullish sentiment across the board, both daily and weekly, indicating higher levels. Oil market is Brent crude oil and WTI. I'm doing very quickly. You see, it can't really make its mind up what it really. But we are in a correction phase. Still potential down to 80. I don't think we'll get there, but there is the potential. But the overall trend is up on crude oil, as we can also see. And we've zoomed in a little bit on the weekly. We are in an upside trend and positive sentiment on the weekly. Above the cloud, well, we have the 100 moving average actually dragging a little bit down on crude oil. Same picture on Brent. Finally, as usual, on the US 10-year, maybe that was it for now. Seems like maybe we should have a little bit of correction down to 450, but the key support 447 should be observed. If it takes out that, well, then suddenly maybe the entire picture could change. But overall, we are in a bullish trend on US yields. All right, that's all for today. Sorry, this was a long one, but also a lot of stuff to talk about, especially the yen pairs move. There will be more in-depth stories about our analysis out on yen pairs a little bit later. Have a nice day. Have a trade.